Welcome to the Rezolve Self-Service Portal, also known as the SSP. The SSP allows you to create and manage mobile engagements that are powered by Rezolve. You can set up the entire mobile experience here, starting with the trigger that will start the interaction, right through to the content that your customers will land on. To get started with the SSP, click the Login button at the bottom left, or the Sign In link in the header. If you've already got an SSP account, enter your username and password here. If you don't have an account, you can click the Sign Up tab and enter a username and password you want to use for your account. I am going to log in with my existing account details. And now it's time to get started. To begin with, you need to create a trigger for the engagement. And a trigger is the thing your customers will first interact with using their mobile apps. The SSP has 5 triggers for you to choose from. Location triggers are also known as GeoZones. Location triggers will notify app users when they enter the GeoZone, and they are also used to add your business's location to Rezolve's in-app directory. Image triggers will turn your adverts, posters and flyers into scannable triggers. Audio triggers will allow you to transform music and audio tracks into mobile triggers. Beacons are small wireless and Bluetooth transmitters, which will trigger notifications as users approach them. Link triggers are special links that will open the Rezolve app when they're tapped on in emails, SMS, or social media messages. You can also embed and share these link triggers within QR codes and use them that way. For this video, our first engagement is going to use a location trigger. The first task with a location trigger is to define an area for your GeoZone. Use the map to find the area you're interested in. And you can use the search bar here to go to a different location. Now click on the map to create your GeoZone. The minimum area for a GeoZone is a 50-meter radius, but you can enlarge it if you want to cover a larger area. If you want to move and reposition your GeoZone, you can drag the red circle and you can click on the pin to remove it. Let's add that again. I'll add this over my physical business location and that looks good to me. So I'm going to click Choose a Target Page to continue. The target page is what you want the user to see after they've triggered your engagement. Rezolve gives you 4 types of target page to choose from. You can use an information target page to simply tell people about your business or provide details about a promotion. It's a page that appears in the app. An act page is a response form, and you use this to capture information from your customers, such as making a reservation, signing up to a newsletter, or entering a competition. A buy target is a thing like a product or a category of products. It's when you want to take people through to something to purchase. And we're going to look at buy targets in a future video. And URL targets are simply web pages or Facebook pages, or it's a page outside of Rezolve that you want to redirect people to. For this example, we're going to use an information page target. And we're going to tell people about our business, which in this case is a sandwich shop. For the title and the subtitle of my information target, I'm going to put in the name of the business, and I'm going to put in the slogan of the business too. Now notice here on the right, there's information about the title, and the subtitle is going to be used in a notification. And that's the notification which is going to appear when customers enter my GeoZone. I can now start building the page itself. To start with, we'll add an image at the top of the page, which is my company logo. Underneath that, I'm going to add a header, which will be my company slogan. I can make that look a little more exciting with these formatting tools here. Maybe have a nice red color. And notice here on the right, the page is being built item by item. I can now add extra information about my business. And although this GeoZone is going to direct people to where my business is physically, I'm also going to add a address there just to help people find me. I think what I'll do now is add another image to the bottom, maybe another nice image of my sandwiches. And that is looking good to me. I'm happy with that. What I'm now going to do is click choose a duration to continue. GeoZones are charged by the day, so we need to choose how long we want to run it for. I could pick the day I want to start it on, and then I could pick the duration. But in my case, I'm going to start it today. I'm going to run it for a week. Now I click confirm and publish, and this is where I can just confirm that I'm happy with everything before I pay. That looks good to me. I'm going to enter a name for this, which is going to be GeoZone for Dan's Sandwich Shop. I'll agree to the terms and conditions, and I'll go ahead and pay. Now, when you do this, you'll see a payment screen there. I'm in training mode, so I don't have to enter any payment details. But what I've now got is I can see my engagement I've just created is listed here in the engagements view. What we need to do now is open up the app and test it and see how it's looking. Let's take a look at my Rezolve app, which is called Shop Beautiful. There are two ways you can see location triggers in action. The first is to physically get up and walk to the location of the GeoZone, and you'll see the notification ping on your phone. But also I can go to the In the Area directory here, and I can see my GeoZones at the top of the list as it's the one closest to my current location. If I tap this entry in the area, I get through to the information page that we just created in the SSP. And if I tap the location pin at the right, I can see a map showing the location of my business and also show you my current location. And I can open up that map in Google Maps or whatever mapping tool you use in order to get directions. Next, we are going to look at image triggers, and I'm going to show you how to watermark an image and use it as a trigger for an engagement. First, I click on Create New Engagement in the sidebar. This brings us back to our trigger selection screen. So last time we did location, now we're going to do an image trigger. Now, images become Rezolve triggers through a process called watermarking, and some images work better for watermarking than others. You need to use a colour image that has lots of pattern and detail. Anything with photos on should work fine, and this is the one we're going to use. It's a flyer about a breakfast bagel. The image is then uploaded to the SSP. That's my trigger defined, very different from a location. Now, in the same way as I did before, the next job is to choose a target. Now, rather than going ahead and creating a new one, to save a bit of time, I've got one already created, which is an ACT form for pre-ordering a breakfast bagel. Now, if I edit the target, we can have a look at what makes an ACT form different from an information page. And the difference is with these date fields, select fields, text fields, input fields, where the customer can respond and send information. So we've got a date field here called What Day Will We See You?, where we ask the customer a date. I've got a select drop down here where people can select a time that they're going to come in and collect. And then I've also got an optional thing here where people can add a coffee to their order. So that's my ACT response form. It's looking good. What I'm going to do now is select it and confirm the engagement in the same way as before. So let's enter the name for the engagement, which is going to be breakfast bagel flyer. I can create my engagement. Again, as before, this is where you would pay, but I don't see that payment screen in training mode. Now, watermarking isn't instant, so you need to wait for a few seconds while the SSP applies the invisible watermark. So wait for about, 5 seconds, click the refresh button, and you can see now the status is green, it's ready to go. I can download that image and test it. Now going back to the app, you can see here on the left, I've got the app. On the right, I've got my watermarked image that I want to scan. So on the app, I'm going to go to my scan screen. I'm going to bring it across to the image. It detects the watermark and it shows me my Act page. And now I can pretend to be a customer. I can choose a date. I'm going to come in and get my bagel. I'm going to choose a time. And I will have a regular latte with that. I can now swipe Act Now, and that information gets submitted to the SSP. Going back to the SSP, I've got an option here at the left called Targets, where I can review all my targets that I've created. And you can see here for my breakfast bagel, I've got a submission, which is the submission I just made via the phone. And I can download that as a CSV and transfer it through to my CRM package. And the next final step, all I need to do is go back to the dashboard. I can download that image. I can then send it off to my printers. I can print off my flyers. And people can start pre-ordering their breakfasts. The final thing I'm going to show you is how simple it is to change the target for an engagement. This means I could use the same flyer that I've printed, unchanged for months or even years, but I can change the offer that sits behind it every week or even every day. So at the moment, my image watermark is linking through to this Act page. But if I wanted to change it and link through to my information page, maybe the breakfast bagels are no longer available, I can just click Change Target. I can then pick the page that I want to redirect people through to, and I can click Confirm. And now that breakfast bagel flyer is going to go through to my information page. Let's test that. Now going back to my phone, I can try scanning the same image again. And this time, rather than taking me through to the Act page, you can see there it's taking me through to that information page which I created at the start of this video. It's the same trigger, but it's different targets. I hope that was a useful introduction to all the features and functionality in the SSP. There's more in-depth help available at help.rezolve.com. Thanks very much for watching, and have fun creating your mobile engagements.